Hello everyone, welcome back to You Enjoy Life. Hope you're all doing well. Joshua here. I'm down in Costa Rica and it's the rainy season and it rains a lot, but when the sun comes out, we rejoice in the sun because the sun is life. And when it rains, you kind of just go inward. So I want to chat with you all about something today that I think is one of those things, I don't want to say we're robbed of it growing up, but when I look at society and when I think about what makes sense versus what I was told to believe, it just doesn't add up. And this is a huge piece, and just knowing this, just having the mindset of this will change your life in the most amazing ways from what I've experienced. I was speaking to a friend recently and we were talking about community and communal living. And one thing we both agree on is that we want to live in some regard close to nature, within community, whether it's like, people living together or living nearby, growing your own food, like living off the land. That kind of fantasy that a lot of people have but don't really know how to do. And I've seen a lot of people attempt it. I've seen some good examples of it, but for me it's just been a calling deep within. And if you're interested as well, of course, shoot me an email or sign up for my Patreon, link below. I'm going to be talking about the process of going through all this and figuring it out. I really believe that when you surround yourself with the right people and you're connected to nature, that life makes a lot of sense. However, and I know this is starting to sound probably hippie commune, blah, blah, but when you really think about the opportunities between just living in society and accepting that that is your community, which literally that's how it becomes. Your community is that which you spend time around. So right now, if you go to the grocery store every day for food, that is your community that you're part of, whether you want to believe it or not. There was a piece when I was talking to my friend, Anna, she was saying, one of the things that she's kind of worried about with community, and she's super excited about it, but one thing that she worries about is getting old and like how that works. And granted, she's nowhere near this age yet, but she's like, I'm just not really sure how to wrap my mind around this stuff. Like when you get old, how do you get taken care of? Because I think she worked at, nursing home type situations and seeing a lot of old people in wheelchairs, people sick, people struggling with dementia, and just all the things that happen as we get old and as we deteriorate. So what I said to her, and I want to share this with you, is that I will never be getting old. And it's one of those things that becomes very obvious when you realize it. When it all kind of clicks together, it's like this, wait a minute. Because we're sold in this idea that getting old means getting, your body gets withered and you get tired all the time and you talk like this. And Sonny, when I was your age, and to each his own. Everyone has their own experience of old age. But from all the research I've done, from what I've even seen with myself, I'm only 35, but what I was told about being 35 was very different than what I've actually experienced, because I'm the healthiest I've ever been, the strongest, the smartest, the clearest, in all the ways. And if you look at different cultures and you compare cultures that like live in blue zones, and people that actually take care of themselves, as they get old, their bodies don't wither. They stay strong. They stay focused. And I think the reason that we have such issues I speak often of like America a lot in general, but there's so many backwards things. We kind of push old people out. Everything's about being young and being hot and being hip. And, I've seen it where people will their minds will deteriorate, not because they're not smart or because they're getting old, but because we have this idea of old people. And then as they get older, we kind of push them out of society and then they have nothing to hold on to. So of course your mind's going to deteriorate. And yes, there's all different elements that you can look at and you can talk about, locations and genetics and surroundings, and there's a million things to consider. But what I really want to share in this video and remind you of is that no matter what situation you're in, you can actually get stronger and smarter and faster and more sharp as you get old. And that's my goal. I can't wait till I'm 70 years old, because I'm going to be in the best shape I've ever been in my whole life. And I'm going to be fluid and flowing in ways that I can't even comprehend right now, because I have my whole life to take care of myself, to take care of my health, to get in shape, to learn more things, to make all the mistakes so that I can grow and I can expand. And when you live from this perspective, old age doesn't actually exist. It's a myth. This myth that we need, we're going to be in a wheelchair, or we're going to be hooked up to an IV, or that we're going to have all these health problems. That's what we're being sold on out of fear. That's not an actual real experience of life. From what I've seen. Again, this is my own experience. I'm not telling you how to live. I want to make that very clear. I'm not telling you in any way how to live, nor do I ever want to express that on any video, because I'm telling you my experience of life. And if it resonates with you, if I can be the person that you can look at and say, you know what, I've been thinking about that for a while, but I didn't know, what to make of it, or Everyone might think I was weird. Let me remind you that it's okay to be weird, that it's okay to think outside of the box, break out of the norm of life, and actually recognize that life is infinite, and we're sold on this false idea based in fear that we're small and that as we get older, we get weaker and weaker and weaker. But I'm never going to get old. I'm only going to get wiser. I'm only going to get stronger. I'm only going to have more experience throughout my entire life. And that's something that I know within all my being. Anything that comes my way is meant to come my way, and I will deal with it in the best way that I can in that moment. When I experienced injury, like the video I put out on my side when I fell, I didn't look at it like this sucks, this is just going to be pain. I saw it for what it really was and actually expanded. I feel stronger now than I did 2 weeks ago, even though I had this injury. And yes, I had to rest it, but I was also learning different things about my body, and I was working out in different ways that hadn't worked out because of this. It's the same thing as we age. Our body will change, right? Our body is going to change, but how we flow with that is what matters. So I want to remind you that old age is an illusion. And if that you're someone who's worried, oh my God, I could be saying I'm pushing 40. I'm going to be 36 this year. And I could be like in that dreaded 40, but my hair's not falling out. I'm getting some gray hairs, maybe from some stressful situations in the past. I don't know. I don't mind gray hair. I can't wait to be, the old gray dude with the beard or whatever. That's just kind of a silly fantasy, but my hair is staying healthy. I feel healthy. My skin feels healthy. I'm not doing the normal things that we're supposed to do to like maintain health or whatever. I'm doing what feels good to me intuitively. One of the reasons I bring this up is because what we've gone through since March with the pandemic has really highlighted what is essential. And to me, maybe the number one thing is your health, your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health across the board. Because if you don't have that, what do you have, right? So if you look at what's really essential in life, these are the things that should matter. And if you have addictions to foods that are bad, you should look at those things and recognize, wait a minute, is this really serving me in the long run? People will say, well, yeah, I could cook for myself, but it's cheaper and faster to get fast food. Okay, maybe in the short run it's cheaper, but all the medical bills and all the lack of focus and all the issues that come because of that, right? It's another thing I'll be talking a lot about on Patreon, offering classes and courses and live streams just to help you stay in this space. So again, link below if you want to check that out. I'm actually amazed how many people have been signing up. It's really exciting to see this community coming together, and not only to support me and continue to do what I do, which feels really awesome and I appreciate, but also like the commitment that you're making to yourself. Because if you're signing up for something like what I'm doing, or if it's not me, if it's somebody else, cool. I'm not doing it to say, hey, you should sign up for mine because it's the thing. It's like whoever you resonate with, whoever makes you feel that spark of joy and aliveness, by committing to something, you're actually saying, hey, I'm putting energy into this space. Like in the Patreon that I'm doing, it's like, hey, let's get off of YouTube and Instagram and all the distraction and all the comparison. Let's go to a space where we're just getting inspiration and joy so we can live our life in this highest, fullest, magical expression beyond the false self that we think we are. When I make these videos, I press record and I start talking. I don't have a script. I might be on a run, like I was running today, and I got like a hit of inspiration. I'm like, this is what I want to talk about. Come back, hit record, and I talk from the heart, because these are the kind of things that I would just be having a conversation about. I'm not going out and trying to research to make sure I have all my stuff. No, this is just what I know from this moment. And if something sparks anything in life for you, if there's a little bit of that, like, I feel some inspiration, well then go do the research, talk to people, be your own vehicle and be your own expression. And also, like for me, I'm like my own walking science experiment. I'm always seeing what works and what doesn't because I trust myself intuitively. So if you're worried about getting old, I get it, I've been there, but I promise you there's another way, and if you start now, you will never get old. So all the fears that you had about getting old and pushing 40 and 50 and 60 and what your body's gonna be like and savoring your body now because one day it's no. You're not even close to your prime. Your prime is your whole life. Every day you become more and more of your prime of who you're meant to be in all the ways. Hope you're all well. We'll talk soon.